Welcome everyone, SparksOpus here. A few days ago Nintendo had its investors meeting, also with the Q&A coming with some presentations. And while going through it, I got reminded once again how much gaming has actually changed for me since the Switch launched. And also for how long the system has been part of my life really. This console has been an absolute game changer for me on so many levels. I think the biggest wow factor was this image here, which just shows how many games Nintendo has released over the course of approaching 8 years now. All of that on a rather patched up system with hardware originally not even intended for a hybrid console. But yeah, also the fact that you can play it on your TV, decide to take the system out and just continue playing on your bed or outside even, or maybe taking it to school, set it up on a desk there and play Smash or Mario Kart against others during break time. I'm not saying that everything was great, especially on Nintendo's legal side of things. May that be related to all the emulator or also the massive Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournaments that no longer exist. All of that is obviously annoying and just simply unfortunate. We usually expect most companies to become extra greedy when they are doing well, and we saw it from every single company before. But one thing I appreciated from Nintendo this generation is how much they were pushing smaller IPs and franchises, sometimes even reviving them. Every single series has been granted a massive opportunity and growth, which this image is showing perfectly right here. The left bar being the sales of the Wii U and 3DS entries combined. It's just great to see really. Just looking back on the release year, Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey, a collab between Nintendo and the Rabbids from Ubisoft, to a new entry in the Xenoblade series with a fantastic expansion later on. A lot of Wii U games getting another chance on a more successful console. More and more third and second party studios with making games like Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3 and Astral Chain. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and the ridiculous hype cycles around new characters being announced and the absolute insanity of it being the biggest crossover ever created really. I look fondly back to all those happy reactions, man. Fantastic remakes from Link's Awakening to Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Fire Emblem Three Houses and its huge success, games like Pikmin, Metroid and Kirby getting new, real current-gen experiences. Once again, the revivals of older, sometimes even forgotten IPs, games that were on the more experimental side. And we are still receiving games on a monthly basis. I still can't believe that Xenoblade Cross Definitive Edition is real. Every Pikmin game on one system. I don't count Hey Pikmin. Every Xenoblade game, every 2D Metroid game technically. There are so many games in the Switch's library, and the best part? All of those games that have released over the course of almost 8 years will be playable on the new system, since backwards compatibility is now officially announced by Nintendo's president Furukawa. It is really great to see that the success of the Switch has led to all those things, and if we see this graph here with whom Nintendo wants a deeper partnership with, I see you From Software, I just can't help myself and be excited. I see a lot of fans praying that hopefully we will be able to play Tears of the Kingdom in a stable 30 frames. Dude, there is more and more infos coming out from shipment infos and data mining, from the amount of RAM it will have, how much internal space it will have, to the NSO gameplay demo showing a 4K resolution option and support for mesh shaders. And the biggest part? The system on a chip in the Switch 2 being made specifically for the Switch 2, so no downclocking to oblivion because it can't handle it otherwise. This bad boy will have DLSS too. We never had something like that on a console before. It is magic, sure, but this technology and just overall partnership with Nvidia is an absolute game changer for Nintendo. Elden Ring, Armored Core 6, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, Metaphor ReFantazio, Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Rebirth, Cyberpunk 2077, Alan Wake 2, all of them will be able to run on it. At this point, it isn't even a question about the hardware anymore. So many new experiences being in front of us. You know, when the Switch released, I was at at a very bad place in my life. Probably the worst point I ever had yet, especially on my mental health part. As I also mentioned in previous videos where I talk about my past, I grew up without much money, and since I started to work as an apprentice already, I was able to save up and buy the system with my own money. And I've gotten the Switch together with Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. And I will never forget that time. Every time when things were really bad, it was such a nice feeling to traverse the lands of Hyrule, hearing the winds and nature around you. The sound design in this game is just truly unparalleled. It honestly made me appreciate video games even more than I already did. The lightheartedness of Super Mario Odyssey was also exactly what I needed in that moment. Without the Switch, I would have never tried so many games and genres, finding and also meeting a lot of other great people and creators. And yes, also starting my own YouTube channel, once again. Overall, I'm personally in a definitely better place now than I was all those years ago. Something that I wished for so much, having my own community where I can share things related to video games without getting judged or similar things. Something that I was never really able to do in real life. I have a foundation that I can now continue to work on, build even further. I met so many people through so many different games, was part of so many communities, I made so many memories and experiences. Sure, positive and negative, but once again, I'll take all of them. Going back to the creating content thing though, I'm also just simply proud of how much progress I made, going from those images made on my phone to those beauties on my PC. Also, me speaking in English, I never spoke English ever before starting YouTube. And if I listen back to how I sounded in my older videos and now, I think the difference is quite noticeable. I think it's cool to speak multiple languages. I personally speak 3 languages. Die Muttersprache wäre natürlich Deutsch, wer hätte es gedacht. Вторая это на русском, благодаря моим родителям. And of course, English. I had Spanish for 2 years in school, but all I can say is Me gusta nadar en el mar y escuchar música. That's where it ends really. I'm drifting off here. That was a Nintendo Switch appreciation video, right? I'm glad that Nintendo has learned from their past mistakes with the Wii U. From a more than consistent release schedule now, thanks to also merging the handhelds and home console games, to great third-party support, which they want to expand even more with the next system. Them also mentioning online play and it now having an increased importance to them, wanting to expand NSO even more with what is in my opinion a cool thing like Nintendo Music. At least there is now an official way to listen to Nintendo Music. It should have arrived way earlier in my opinion. And just expand video games into territories where gaming isn't really a thing. Giving them also the opportunity to play fun games. I don't think it's crazy to say that the Switch is, for me at least, the greatest video game console that has ever been released. I am pretty sure that Donkey Kong and Star Fox will also get their time to shine, considering that both DK and Star Fox are being shown with other big IPs like Mario, Zelda and such. And yes, movies and theme parks. Nintendo expanding beyond just video games and consoles. There's just so much happening in recent times and also currently with Nintendo. I know it's a company and the main focus is obviously to generate money, but I find it kinda cool that they mention that their main focus is to create smiles, also wanting to build a good relationship with its customers, hopefully that becoming better in the future. And it is exactly what I want to try in the future as well, with all of you people. I will continue to make videos for probably and hopefully many years to come. Also, share my first time experiences in live streams, like I mentioned before, Xenogears, the new Mario & Luigi, which is the current project, Xenoblade Cross Definitive Edition with the new story added next year, Nier Automata, Outer Wilds, Dark Souls, Okami, and honestly so many more games. I have enough games for the next 10 years probably. I have so many ideas also for future games that may release. Maybe even with the soon releasing Xenoblade Cross, where we can do global Nemesis bosses together on stream. In any case, I hope you'll join me on my ride through the world of video games. I thank you all so much for granting me this opportunity to make videos and streams on things I love. I love video games, man. I can't put into words how much I appreciate them and how much they have helped me even in my absolute worst times. And the Nintendo Switch was a big factor here. So yes, thank you Nintendo, very cool. Feel free to share some cool experiences with the Switch in the comments if you want to. I thank you all once again for watching this video and sticking by. May that be from the very first videos to the trailers to Xenoblade, or maybe from just a month ago. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a really good one, and I see you all later.